Hi, I'm Mark, and in this video I'm going to teach you 8 fantastic sounding blues licks which are ridiculously easy to play. So this video demonstrates 8 really simple licks, and the idea behind the video was I was trying to think of licks that are really simple, that if you're an intermediate player you're just going to pick up really fast. If you're a beginner, maybe this could be like your first blues solo, so something really easy that even if you've only been playing a few weeks or a month you could actually tackle this solo. The licks are really simple. The way the video is going to play out is you're going to see the 8 licks played as a solo over the backing track, and then what I'll do is I'll explain the scale that's used, I'll explain the techniques, how a blues player would approach playing these kind of licks using techniques like vibrato, bends and sliding between notes, those kind of things, and then I'll actually show you the licks nice and slow, one by one, teach you exactly how to play them. So as I say, even if you've only just begun playing, you should be able to tackle this. It's probably the easiest thing I've got on my channel right now. So if you like this kind of thing, please remember to subscribe so you see more of my content. There's more coming all the time. And with that, let's have a listen to the solo. So that was the solo, and I hope you agree that they're great sounding licks. They're the kind of licks that I'd play myself in a club or on a record or something, but they still sound great and they're really easy to play. So all those licks, all 8 of them, come from the A minor pentatonic scale. So usually this is the very first scale that anybody ever learns to play. If you don't know it already, I'll quickly show you how it goes. Okay, so that's going to be like the very first solo the very first scale you'll ever learn to play. Usually, for most of us, that was where it started. That's called A minor pentatonic box position 1. If you're interested in knowing that and kind of getting into it, there's tons more videos on YouTube teaching you how to play it, going through really slowly. I'm not going to really dive into it too much right now, except to say that there's kind of a little technique thing about how to play it. The correct way to play it is that when you use this fret, which is the 5th fret, any note played on the 5th fret is with the index finger. There are no notes on the 2nd fret, on the 6th fret, but if there was, that'd be this finger. 7th fret would be this finger, your ring finger, and then the 8th fret would be your little finger. So the classical, traditional, correct way to play this is with this fingering. And if you're doing that, you want, I don't know if you can see that, thumb low down the back of the neck. See if I do it that way. But that's not the way blues players play scales, because we like to bend and do things, and it's very hard to bend when your thumb is right down the back of the neck there. So what you'll find, if you ever watch any videos of like Stevie Ray or Jimi Hendrix or anything, they grab the guitar more like a baseball bat. So it's not thumb down the bottom though, it's thumb kind of over the top. And instead of using your index finger and your little finger when you're spanning 3 frets, you play the whole scale with just the index finger and the ring finger, and you kind of play it more like this. And the reason for that is because then when you bend like this, it's much easier when your thumb's over the top like this. So it's an incorrect, less technically correct way of playing it, but you watch any blues player, that's how they attack it. Okay, so that's the scale. Every single lick, every note in that example solo comes just from that pattern there. So let's talk about techniques. In that solo, you'll see a couple of different techniques. The first one you'll probably notice is a slide. This is a really easy technique to master. You start on one fret, slide your finger until you hit another fret. There's basically two ways of doing this. You can slide into a note like this. Okay, or you can slide away from a note like this. Okay, that's basically it. Okay, the important thing to do is on your sliding in, know where you're targeting, where you're going to end up at. When you're sliding away, know where you're starting from, and it doesn't really matter where you end. Okay, you'll see that several times in the licks that we're going to do. The other one is vibrato. That is where you just shake a note. Okay, and that just makes notes more interesting than if you just hold them straight. So let's try this D note, hold it straight, pretty boring, and let's give it a shake. Sounds a bit more interesting. Particularly when you're going to end the lick and rest on a note for a while, nice to give it a shake. So that's vibrato, that's slide. The other one then is bends. So again, two ways to bend. You bend into a note or bend away from a note. Start with bending into a note. I'm going to start by taking this note here, this D, and I'm going to bend it up a whole tone until it becomes the same pitch as this one here. Okay, we can do the same by bending this G note here up to become the same pitch as this one here. And when you get there, you can give it a shake or you can slide away from it, whatever you want to do. Okay, so that's bending into a note, and you usually do that when you're going to then hold that note. The other way is to bend kind of away from a note. And when you do this, usually you then immediately hit another note pretty soon afterwards, okay? So kind of like this thing. Okay, and you're not bending that whole tone till you hit the next note up. You're just kind of bending it away so it starts to sound quite dirty. So as a nice little exercise, you might want to try something like this. Okay, and that sounds like a lick. It's not actually meant to sound like a lick, it's just me practicing the A minor pentatonic scale, but putting those bends in. Other thing to mention before we go into looking at the actual licks from the solo is how a blues player thinks, right? So how a blues player plays a phrase. So if we think of a really simple phrase like this one here. Okay, simple 4-note little pattern from our A minor pentatonic scale, starting B fret 5, G string 7, G string 5, D string 7. Now, a blues player wouldn't play that phrase in that way. They'd be more likely to play it like this. And you see, it instantly sounds more bluesy. So instead of playing this note here, we're going to bend into it from this one here, and then when we play this note here, we're actually going to pull it slightly sharp. So this phrase becomes this. Sounds a lot more bluesy. Okay, so those were all the techniques that you're going to see in this solo. So you've heard the solo. The solo also has a backing track that you hear me playing over. That's available as a separate track on YouTube. I'll put a link into it. The tab that you're going to see for all the licks, that's available from me. You just send me an email, details in the description below. As I say, if you like this, please subscribe, and big thank you to all my Patreon supporters who make this kind of video possible. Okay, so let's go on with the licks. Lick 1 in our example solo goes like this. Okay, so lick 1 starts, where are we? 5th fret, B string, 8th fret, B string, and then lands on 5th fret, top E. And you can do one of those slide away things if you want. The only kind of tricky thing about this is when it comes in. So you don't wait for the music to start and then playing this. If you listen back to how I play it, there's a there's a 1 bar count in 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the music comes in. You basically, after beat 3, you come in on beat 4. So it would actually go like this: 1, 2, 3. Because you want that top E note there, or rather that A note on the top E string, you want that to come in when the rest of the band comes in. Okay, that's the only tricky thing about it. So that was lick 1. Lick 2 now goes like this. So 8th fret, top E string, and we're hitting that twice and doing that little bend away thing before landing on top E, 5th fret. Do a slide away again if you want. Okay, that was lick 2. Lick 3 now goes like this. So we're going to start 8th fret B string, bend it up a whole tone, then come back down, hit 8 on the B, and then to the 5th fret on the B string. So that little piece goes like this. Then we're going to hit 7 on the G string, and then we're going to hit 5 on the G string twice, both times pulling it slightly sharp. So that piece goes like this, and then we're going to resolve to 7th fret on the D string. So the whole lick, nice and slow. Okay, that was lick 3. Lick 4 is the easiest one in this, and it's just a slide from fret 5 to fret 7 on the G string. Okay, can't do it faster or slower, it just is what it is, that's all it is. You can use any finger to do it, doesn't really matter. When you get there, kind of give it a shake. Okay, lick 5 now goes like this. Okay, so we're going to start 5th fret of the B string, then 7 on the G, 5 on the G, and then slide 5 to 7 on the G string. So that little piece goes like this. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to bend 5 on the G string slightly sharp, and then resolve to 7 on the D string. And then to finish the lick, we're going to catch top E string, 5th fret, and then slide away. Okay, whole lick nice and slow. Okay, and up to speed. Lick 6 now goes like this. So this is the same as lick, where are we? Lick 2, except that we're doing it on a different string. So lick 2 went like this. Lick, where are we? Lick 6 goes like this. But you'll notice instead of sliding away on the last note, I'm actually just shaking it. So nice and slow, 8th fret, B string twice, bending up, and then resolving to 5th fret of the B string. And giving that a little shake. When I shake, I tend to kind of use the underside of the fretboard to kind of pull against. So that part of my index finger is touching the fretboard, and I'm kind of using that, and I'm twisting my wrist in order to shake. I'm not shaking my hand like this, which I'd need to do if my thumb was low down the back. I'm actually kind of twisting it like this. Anyway, so that was lick 6. Lick 7 now goes like this. So we're going to start on, where are we? 7th fret of the G string, bend up a whole tone, come back down to 7, then off to 5, back to 7, back to 5, bend and slightly sharp, before landing on the D string at the 7th fret. So nice and slow. And up to speed. Okay, that was lick 7. Lick 8, now the final lick goes like this. So what we're doing is we're grabbing the 5th fret on the D string, pulling it slightly sharp, and then hitting the 7th fret of the A string 3 times. Okay, and that's the whole solo. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it useful. Please check out my other videos, and I'll see you again.